Okay, so today I wanted to cover a little bit about switches and the jobs that they can do, because it's going to be really important that you understand these concepts as we move into learning about VLANs. Because wouldn't you agree, Spencer, VLANs are kind of like the cornerstone or the foundation of networking as it relates to LANs and
Absolutely.
small and large businesses. So we really want to drive this home. So we know from 140 that a switch has many ports. So from now on, we're more or less going to refer to these as switch ports. Makes sense, right? Switch ports. And as we learn more about VLANs, we're going to see that we can assign these ports different jobs. And there's two primary jobs. One is as an access port, okay? So I can say I want F01 to act as an access port.
What would be the point of having an access port?
Good question. So access ports attach to end devices. So I would attach that to PCs, to printers. So what we've been talking about so far are just regular LANs and local area networks, but we're going to start talking about VLANs, which are virtual LANs. So when we do VLANs, we need to tell that port what VLAN it's part of and what its job is. So if it's attached to an end device, it's going to be an access port.
So we're specifying that that access port belongs to a VLAN group.
Exactly. So if I were to take my straight through and connect it to several PCs, I'm going to tell that port, you are going to function and behave as an access port. Now, what do access ports do? Access ports carry data. They just carry data. Okay, they really don't do anything else. So again, our PCs are sending and receiving data.
But an access port is sending the data to a specific VLAN.
Yes, exactly. And when we get deeper into VLANs, we're going to explain how one VLAN can only talk to its counterpart. So a VLAN 10 can only talk to another VLAN 10 until we learn how to take it to the next level. Okay, so we've talked about the access port, and access ports carry what?
Data.
Data, perfect. The next type of port that we want to talk about that a switch has is a trunk port. So again, remember, these switch ports can either function as an access port or as a trunk port. So if I need to connect two switches together, so I'm basically going to trunk them, okay? And when I connect them together, I'm going to use a crossover cable because they're like devices. Now, a trunk port carries VLAN traffic. Okay, so again, all I want us to walk away from this little lesson, more or less, is that switches their ports can be assigned jobs, access ports carry data, and the other type of port I can assign it is a trunk port, and trunk ports carry what kind of traffic? VLAN traffic. VLAN traffic.
So you could have multiple VLANs sending across one trunk port because it's sending the traffic of multiple VLANs.
Exactly.
Got it.
So again, our next phase of learning is going to be how we can have multiple VLANs in one particular area. Let's say I have a business and I have a department, or I have a building in Phoenix and I have a building in Tempe. And maybe I have a marketing department in my Phoenix office and I have a marketing department in my Tempe office. Well, I want them to be on the same VLAN, right? I don't want to have to create separate LANs. So we do that and we connect them with these trunk ports.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So you could actually have on this location, you could have sales, marketing, and shipping all in separate VLANs.
Yes.
They can't talk to each other though, can they?
Not yet. We're going to learn how to make them talk to each other by introducing a router. But Spencer, let me back up because you brought up a really good point. Old time legacy, this switch could only carry one LAN. But with the introduction of VLANs, virtual LANs, I can divide this switch up and make it carry traffic for multiple virtual LANs. So we have brought the cost down of networking for businesses, because before they would need a separate switch for every LAN. Now, these devices, through software that's built inside of them, can be subdivided to carry multiple LANs.
Gotcha.
And called VLANs.
So without a router,
Yep.
those 3 departments that are on different virtual LANs going to this one, they could communicate with like VLANs, the shipping, marketing, and sales departments,
Yes.
but they can't intercommunicate.
Not yet, because from 140, if you remember, we started teaching students how, in order for remote traffic, you have to introduce the default gateway. So one network can't talk to another network without having a router or a default gateway. So that's going to be our next lesson, is we're going to show how VLAN to VLAN can talk. Then how can we get one VLAN to talk to a different VLAN? That will be by introducing a router.